housing projects in Nairobi. Ladies and gentlemen, Nairobi residents and members of the Fourth Estate, my attention has been drawn to accusations captured in media that I'm in possession of land titles belonging to Jevanjee and Pangani affordable housing projects. Well, I recommend that the Nairobi City County Assembly for bringing this matter up through the Lands and Urban Planning Committee. I would like from the onset to state the facts in regard to the two projects that were dear to my heart when I was serving as the second governor of this great city. It is important to note that the affordable housing projects in Nairobi was brainstormed and planned during the tenure of the former governor, my good friend Evans who served as the first governor of Nairobi. It is during this time that the county government and the national government started collaborating on ways to revamp the 7 old estates in Nairobi. This was to be done through a public-private partnership with the county providing land and the investors allowed to charge an agreed percentage on the property to make their profit. I want to bring to your attention that the leases, these titles for both Jevanjee and Pangani were processed in 2018 during my time as governor. Take note that there was no meaningful progress in terms of development that happened during the previous administration before I took over, until when I took over. Indeed, under my tenure, we fast-tracked the development by diligently negotiating an exit agreement between the county government and the tenants in respective estates, with Jevanjee and Pangani being one of them. We must acknowledge the fact that most tenants were old people and old families who had spent decades of struggle living in the estates. We therefore agreed to give every tenant a sum of Kenyan shilling 600,000 as a facilitation fee applicable for 2 years for them to find alternative accommodation within the city as they awaited the completion of the projects. Further, take note that being a people's governor by then, I was never going to allow forceful evictions or transfer of people without a clear plan. We had to ensure that the registered tenants are given priority once the houses are complete. This was eventually agreed and signed between the county, the estate associations, and the respective developers or other investors. We started the Jevanjee project with a plan to put up 1,830 units, while Pangani was to give, or rather have, 1,562 housing units. The investors had to pump around 3 to 4 billion, as stated earlier. This was public-private partnership. I wish to state, it is my belief that Nairobi City County Government and the Oversight Committee in charge of this matter must be discerning enough to know that the Ministry of Lands registries are normally the custodian of the records. If they take time, they realize the leases were processed in the year 2018. It is officially captured. For instance, Jevanjee, it is captured under the special purpose vehicle that was used, that is Nairobi Bachelors Jevanjee Estate Limited, which is a private limited company incorporated under the Companies Act, and also the certificates of transfer of lease that was signed in July 2019 and witnessed by the Nairobi City County government, and the joint registration of the special purpose vehicles. These joint ventures agreement were drafted and prepared before I took over as governor. Ours was just implementation of the project. It is my humble submission that there is a grand plan by senior staff, politicians, and cartels who want to be allocated houses without following the due process. Whatever has been circulating, or whatever came up from the county assembly and the county government of Nairobi, I believe these were just diversionary tactics to divert the real issues. Because the other day I saw from Citizen TV that investors who had purchased these houses were complaining that despite them investing millions, they are yet to be allocated with these houses, meaning the projects have stalled. It is well documented that during my tenure, the county had a seamless and good working relationship with the national government in executing the affordable housing project in Nairobi. A good example is the 1,370 affordable housing units in Park Road, Ngara project. It is the first affordable housing project of the Kenya government to improve people's livelihood, and the first project of the affordable housing plan of the Big Four agenda by that time by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. It is here that our legendary athlete mkimbiaji Faith Kipyegon, who was gifted a spacious house by the current president. I therefore call upon the Governor Johnson Sakaja, the Nairobi City County Government, to focus on provision of providing necessary support to ensure the projects are complete without much drama na siasa. Because sisi ndio master vipindire. Sisi ndio wazilishi wa vipindi. So hizi zao, I think they are trying to divert attention. Kama nilivyosema, citizen wale highlight investors wakileta shida. Now I was there yesterday kwa hizi projects. Pangani, both the investors, I can say they've done a good job. Pangani is over 12 floors. Jevanjee pia imeenda. Now, I want to rudi nyuma kidogo. Under the joint venture agreements which were there, the county was to provide land. My contribution in the county was the land. Investors was coming with their billions. Then they do a joint registration of the properties. So, what I did to clear my name, I wrote a letter to the land registrar that was yesterday, demanding to know the current status of both the Pangani title deed and the Jevanjee. So I did a letter to the land registrar dated yesterday, 23rd October 2014, which was received yesterday and stamped at the land's office. The land registrar, Jevanjee is LR number 209/5458, and the IR is there. Then Pangani is Nairobi block 40474. These letters were received. I paid via e-citizen through my M-Pesa. A receipt from Sasa was issued. I was glad, and I want to compliment the CS Ministry of Lands, the PS, Mr. Nixon Korir, for what they have done, because I only spent less than 20 minutes and I was furnished with all the documents. So I wonder why the MCAs and the county government senior officials, including the CECs, if I was the governor in 2017, I was impeached in 2020. So 3 years down the line, now we're in 2023. You mean they didn't realize that the title was missing? The custodian of these records is the CEC, lands, and the chief officer, county chief officers. Unataka kuniambia since 2020 hawajaona ati titles haziko. Hii ni kipindi ya hali ya juu na na condemn mambo ya kurudiana majina. Let me go to the records which were furnished to me by the Ministry of Lands. We have the official search, but first I'll go to the leases. I pushed for these documents to be registered in the name of the Nairobi City County Government. On 16th July 2018, this is the green card because the Pangani is under a block, not under, Pangani is under cap 300. And Jevanjee, I think, is under cap 281, if I'm not wrong. So the list for Pangani, we have certified copies of the green card. 16th July 2018, Nairobi City County became the owner from the national government. And then lease was registered on the 20th September 2018 under a special purpose vehicle going by the name of Nairobi Pangani Estate Limited. It was a joint registration between the Nairobi City County and the investor of Pangani in 2018, and the projects started. This is the list. This was my county secretary by then, Peter Kariuki. This is the land registrar. So the property was officially transferred to the county in 2018. This is Pangani. You go to Jevanjee, the same thing. This is the list. This is my county secretary. To make the matters worse, this is S.G. Mwangi, who was the chief officer by then and the custodian of these titles. So we got our list for Jevanjee on 2nd August 2018. Single name of Nairobi City County for the both properties. So in 2019, the special purpose vehicle for Pangani was registered jointly between the land, between the county government of Nairobi as the owners of the land and the investor. This was booked on July 25th, 2019. It was registered. My county secretary by then was Pauline Kahiga. The chief officer is the same guy who is now the CEC Lands, S.G. Mwangi. And he also, I think his name is appearing on the transfer, yes. Chief Officer Lands. In fact, he executed on behalf of Nairobi County and the county secretary. And then the developer, or rather the investor, Abdul Qadir Ahmed, executed also. So this was a joint ownership between the investor and the county government of Nairobi. The same also for Jevanjee and for Pangani. Same process was followed. In the instance of time, I'll not go to the documentation, but I was furnished with the documents by the lands office. Now, to make the matters worse, this same S.G. Mwangi, who was the who was the chief officer by then, equivalent to appears in the national government, is the accounting officer. He's the one who took the title deed. This application for registration on 25th July 2019, the title was received by S.G. Mwangi, who has been the custodian of this title for all these years. So I'll furnish you with all these documents so that mtu asikimbishe kotini. Now, I also realized the county government recently, like 1 year ago, around 19th of April, they passed a resolution on the floor of the House to allow the investor to use the title to go and charge so that they can get funds. This was passed around 19th April 2023. I got it from the county assembly website. It was moved by the Honorable Peter Imwatok, who is the majority leader, and seconded by my good friend Anthony Kiragu, who is the minority leader. Now, I think there is something wrong, and I want to tell Governor Sakaja. I think your CECs or your cabinet, they need to go for refresher courses or refresher classes or induction classes. And I don't mind unaanza kuwaleta hapa niwafundishe hapa vile sheria ya mashamba inafanywa. because mulifanya inventory when you took over, yeah, you should know the kind of properties the county government owns. You should have asked for all these title deeds instead of playing politics with my name. That is what we normally do. Because when I took over from Kidero, I got all these documents. I was in a position to identify these are the county properties, these are not the county properties. So I want to challenge ninyi cabinet mwache kuangusha governor. Sote tunafanyia wananchi wa Nairobi kazi, whether I'm in office or not. Hii ni project ambayo nilianzisha and I'll follow it to the mpaka mwisho. Now, after this resolution was passed, and after I wrote to the lands office, I'm not the originator of these documents. They were furnished by the Ministry of Lands. Mtaka kuniambia hakuna MCA. Wakati title imepotea angeenda tu hapa Ardhi House kufanya search. Kujua where is the title. Or any minister from the county to go and conduct a search. Kujua mahali hizi documents ziko. But mkaona tu Sonko ni mwizi, ndio ameiba hizi documents. I want to prove you wrong and shame on you, all of you. This is the official search. You guys went and charged the property. Ile mnasema Sonko ameiba. The title is with the National Bank of Kenya. You charged it for 1.9 billion Kenya shillings. The charge was registered on 29th May 2023. Was Sonko the governor during this time? This was 3 years after my impeachment. So mwache vipindi mingi za pesa nane. Stop misleading Kenyans. Do your work. Complete the projects. Mmechukua pesa wenyewe. Wapeni watu nyumba. Stop letting the governor down. Shame on you, all of you. And if you don't apologize, ni bahati mulikuwa kwa bunge, sina right ya kuwasu. But this is how people work. So stop tarnishing my good name, and even if I'm a nobody, I'll do a thorough follow-up and ensure wale maskini, kina freedom fighters, mzee Kahengeri na wengine, wale niliwapea kila mtu 600,000. Tukawa promise, phase 1, they'll own those houses. I will ensure they own those houses. I know mnataka kujipatia manyumba na mabibi zenu. That one will never happen. Mnazona Sonko ni mjinga, but I still have got the political muscles of fighting on behalf of the poor. So msiona mmepata chance ya kudhulumu wanyonge. Wananchi walifanya demonstration, wanataka nyumba zao. Deal with the real issues. So many project iko stalled. Tunajua there was COVID. Yeah? Kenyans will understand. Instead of tarnishing my good name. I'll never allow that to happen. Kwa hivyo title deed wa Kenya, iko National Bank of Kenya, the investor and the county, under the joint registration of the special purpose vehicle, that is Bachelor's Jevanjee Estate. Title ilipelekwa National Bank, ikachajiwa as per the land registrar's search, na wakachukua 1.9 billion Kenya shillings from last year, May 2023. So mko na pesa ya investors, mko na pesa ya tenants, na mko na pesa ya National Bank. Finish the project. Peni wa Kenya manyumba zao, wacheni kutumia jina ya Sonko. Kwani Sonko amewafanya nini? Nimelala na bibi ya mtu hapo county. Toeni majina yangu kwa mdomo wenu. Shame on you again. So that is what I wish to state for now. Yes, it was received and I'm finishing with all these documents. The daily